And bang! Greetings, Will Feel number one fans and viewers. Scott Casey Gale here. Back with you. Today, I'm going to give you my recap and review of Mayans M.C. Season 5, Episode 8, entitled Her Blacks, Crackle, and Drag. It was written by Sean Varela and Vincent Vargas, and it was directed by Brett Dos Santos. And I thought it was a very disappointing, boring episode. I'm gonna be honest. Season 5, the final season of Mayans MC, has not been very good. I mean, they've only had 3 good episodes, but this episode 8, in my opinion, I would say it was pretty much the most boring and worst episode of season 5. Hopefully, the last 2 episodes are much better. Okay, let's begin with the recap, shall we? Here we go. Ring the bell. The episode begins with Donna and Grillo driving with the bodies of Diaz and Jinx, the president and vice president of the Oakland chapter of the Mayans. In the back of the van, Grillo exacted revenge on Diaz after learning that he pulled the trigger to kill his father, Abela, the former head of the Tucson chapter when the Mayan Civil War first exploded. This led to Bishop killing Jinx because at the point, why leave a living witness? At, as much as it creates a whole new shitstorm for the Mayans, Downer tells Guerrero that everybody knows why he had to kill Diaz, especially knowing how his own father was gunned down by another brother. The only way out of this whole situation is to pin the murders on a rival faction, which is what Downer and Guerrero are going with the bodies. These. They soon arrive at the Grim Bastards clubhouse, where they stage the bodies these outside, with both Mayans dressed in Sons of Anarchy kilts. Before Downer tells Guerrero to ring the bell to let them know there's a surprise waiting outside, Downer ends up honking the horn several times before making Guerrero chase the van to get inside because what's more practical than playing a joke while dumping off dead bodies? The next morning, back at the Mayans compound, Sophia can't help but notice Sally is following her at every step, and this certainly seems like a sign that perhaps she's pregnant with Easy's child. It's never really explicitly stated in the episode, but it definitely appears like that might be happening, especially after Sophia finally faced her own demons after accidentally causing the death of her daughter years earlier. When Sophia walks outside, Easy is putting himself through a, a torturous workout, and he barely acknowledges her when she tells him that Creeper wouldn't want him to suffer through this. Little does she know that Easy's responsible for Creeper's death. A moment later, the grim bastards wore through the Mayans' front gate, and Lucky, the club president, lays down the 2 Mayans killed from the members found outside the doors. It seems like the Mayans' plan has worked because the grim bastards took this as a warning shot from the Sons of Anarchy after they intervened and tried to play peacekeepers during the ongoing war between the two clubs. It appears Easy is getting exactly what he wanted by turning the Grim Bastards against the Sons of Anarchy, which leaves the club even more vulnerable with numbers mounting against them. As for Marcus Alvarez, he's cooking breakfast for his family and appears he's trying to get back to some sense of normalcy rather than continuing to wallow in his own misery after he was booted from the Mayans. It's a short-lived reprieve, however, because Alvarez soon gets a call telling him that Diaz is dead. It doesn't take long for Alvarez to tear out of his own mouth up on his motorcycle for the first time since he was exercised from the club he founded, and he's out looking for answers. The drive takes him all the way to Charming, where he tracks down Wayne Quinn, longtime member of the Sons of Anarchy Motorcycle Club Redwood Original, because he wants answers. Alvarez points a gun to Quinn, and threatens to pull the trigger unless he names the person responsible for killing Diaz. Quinn doesn't flinch with the gun pressed against his chin as he informs Alvarez that the truce between Samco and the Northern Charters had already been broken after Happy was gunned down by the Ways brothers. Alvarez had no idea that happened, but he still wants answers about who killed Diaz, and Quinn suggests he he should look a little closer to home. Try your own backyard. We're all down for the trip, brother. But you minds, you kill each other more than we kill you. It wasn't us, as Quinn says. Alvarez drops the gun and leaves the clubhouse without further inaction. Before returning home in the end, Alvarez cuts the Mayan patches off his kilt before throwing everything into a fire. It seems he's finally severing all ties with the club he loved so much. Finally, at the Mayans clubhouse, Easy and Hank took over a map of California as they discussed the new partnership with the Grim Bastards, which gives them the numbers in the war against the Sons of Anarchy. Easy knows this is the advantage they needed, and now the Sons are cornered in every part of the state, which means they will soon have to concede defeat or risk being crushed altogether. Easy also laments Creeper's death inside the prison, obviously never showing the hand he played in that murder, while promising Hank that nothing like that will ever happen to a brother again. Now they take control of the drug trade. It's almost like Easy has detached himself from reality, as he did not get Keeper killed, but we all know he did. Fathers and sons. Felipe Ways receives a knock on his door, and he's surprised to find Miguel Galindo there waiting for him. He invites his son into the house, and Miguel can't help but look at all the family photos and the happy life that the Ways family had together without him. Miguel then presents Felipe with a photo that shows him alongside his surrogate father, Jose Galindo, who raised him as his own, even knowing deep down that the child wasn't his. Miguel tells Felipe that Jose was an angry man who lashed out often, but still accepted him as a son, which Felipe never bothered to try and claim him, and instead he started a new family north of the border. For all the violence enacted under Jose Galindo's watch, Miguel says his father still cared about him, and that's more than Felipe has ever done for him. Felipe knows that he abandoned his son after leaving his mother to start a new life in America, and he can't make up for his past. The only thing a father can ask for is his son to forgive his mistakes, Felipe Ray says. Miguel refuses to forgive his father's misgivings as he continues to push Felipe away while reminding him that they will never be a family. It's not long before Felipe receives a visit from another of his children when Angel arrives at his doorstep with Maverick in tow. Angel tells his father that Louisa Adelita never returned home, and he can't stand to be in that house without her. So Felipe invites Angel and Maverick to stay with him because this has always been their home, whether they live there or not. Felipe may have lost two sons forever in Miguel and Easy, but he's obviously doing everything possible to keep Angel near him. Meanwhile, Gildy is struggling with his own family after Wade told him that he should finally become a father to his son Jacob. But to do that he would need to leave the Mayans behind. Before Gildy can make a decision, he's confronted by a drunk Paul played by Phil Brooks, also known as CM Punk. Paul, who arrives at the house to confront his wife and former friend, while just blurting out that he's been Jacob's father for the past 12 years, while his real dad has been absent. Jacob is understandably confused, and Gildy explodes by throwing Powell to the ground and viciously beating him up. That act alone tells Gildy that he's not in the right head headspace to be a father to his son, especially since Jacob has only known one dad in his life, and it's not him. So Gildy decides to drive Paul to rehab and tells him to get his life together because Ray and Jacob need him. Paul attempts to reminisce with Gildy about their past together as soldiers, where, where they carried out some heinous acts, including a moment where a little girl was thrown off a building. But it's not something either of them really want to remember. That explains Paul's post-traumatic stress as well as Gildy's refusal to face the consequences of his past, which is why he can't try to be a husband to Ray, much less a father to Jacob. Instead, Gildy tells Paul to get his act together and go home to his family. He then returns to find Ray and Jacob moving out of his house as he shares a final moment with the woman he loved and a son he'll probably never know. As much as it stings, Gildy begins to realize that both better off with better off with him. Funeral for a friend. The day has come to lay Creeper to rest, and the Mayans share a somber memorial for their fallen brother back at the clubhouse. Even Tazza, the former Santa Padre Club member who indirectly got the war with the Sons of Anarchy started, returns for the funeral. Creeper's sister gives a heartfelt eulogy for her brother while telling the Mayans how much they meant to yeah, how much they meant to him. But but she singles out Easy as the person he cared about the most. Now that really has to sting. Easy emerges from the crowd and says a silent goodbye to Creeper before addressing the minds and taking responsibility for his actions. Well, not exactly, anyways. I killed my brother. I killed Creeper. It was on my watch. Easy way he says. Easy confesses, but instead of admitting that he actually ordered Creeper's death, he just owns up to the blame for not protecting his brothers in prison. He promises it will never happen again. That's when Kate, formerly known as Cody, emerges from the back of the room as she reaches out and touches Creeper's face one last time before staring down Easy Ways. She leaves without saying a word as Hank tells the other members that is Creeper's old lady. Now the club doesn't know that Cody is actually a fake name she she used while undercover as ATF agent, which is how she was planted with Creeper to get information against the Mayans. She no longer works for the ATF, but she does know that Easy was the rat, which obviously raises her suspicions that he was the person responsible for getting Creeper killed. It will be interesting to see how this all plays, especially if Easy or Kate's secret is ever revealed. Following the memorial, the Mayans party away their grief, with Tazza sneaking outside where he's reunited with Bishop. Of course, the two were formerly close friends until Bishop learned that Tazza was gay and that he killed Wiz to help cover up his past, which led to the escalating tensions with the Sons of Anarchy. But rather than continuing to hold a grudge, Bishop says the past is the past, while Tazza admits that perhaps it's time that he finally returns home. Bishop tries to tell him he would be dumb to come back now because it's the worst possible time to rejoin the Santa Padre chapter. But Tazza admits he's never been practically smart anyways. As for Easy, he ends his night back in bed with Sophia, who tries to get him to talk to her, but he refuses. Easy is keeping everything bottled up that he eventually come back to bite him, especially if he soon learns that perhaps Sophia is killing his child. Now, sleep now in the fire. Following a couple of nights spent at the Broken Saints compound and discovering that they are cooking up drugs for the Mayans, Letty plans her escape and she's nearly discovered, but still manages to find a way to find a working truck to leave before anyone catches her. She soon arrives at the Sons of Anarchy San Bernardino clubhouse where she's reunited with Isaac. Letty tells him that the Broken Saints are making drugs for the Mayans, but she wasn't able to find out anything else without being caught. Still, Letty believes she did exactly what Isaac asked of her, and now she wants to return hope to her. Oh, sweet summer child. Needless to say, Isaac refuses and basically laughs in Letty's face for believing she would get hope back, and he also admonishes her for betraying the broken saints for the sake of saving one person. It's the same kind of betrayal that Coco enacted when he stormed in onto Meth Mountain to retrieve hope once upon a time, which ignited Isaac's fist for revenge against the Mayans. You choose a sister over the sisterhood. You should be proud. You're more like Coco than I thought. Whatever happens to next is your fault, Isaac says. Letty screams for Hope as the gate closes in her face and she's left on the outside. As for Hope, she's being held without any food or water, but a plate filled with drugs. It seems Isaac wants her back under his thumb, and the only way he can guarantee that is if she's an addict again. Hope refuses and tells him repeatedly that Letty will come for her, that Isaac warns her about what will happen if she does. I'll tear off her wings in front of you. I'll set her on fire and hold your hair back while you watch. You can deny gravity, but momentum will always bring you back to me, Isaac says. Isaac continues to spout up his usual insanity before telling Terry, Bern- the Bernardino vice president, to watch over Hope while he carries out a mission with the rest of the Sons of Anarchy. That night, Terry brings Hope some soup while telling her not to say she's eaten. He hears gunshots ring out through the clubhouse. A moment later, Letty busts open the door with a knife to the throat of one of the crow eaters while demanding that Hope is set free. Rather than shoot Letty dead, Terry turns the gun on the crow eater and kills her instead. Terry then tells Hope to run away with Letty as he executes the rest of the crow eaters to cover their tracks. As Letty and Hope escape, Terry points the gun at his shoulder and pulls the trigger to cover his involvement. When Isaac finally returns, in the car, Letty tells Hope they can leave California and perhaps head to Ohio where they can be reunited with Chucky. It's nice. It's nice that he got a mention in this final season, and get jobs away from the drama. They now survive. Hope breaks down in tears and demands that Letty pull the car over on on the side of the highway. As she gets out of the car, Hope tells Letty that they'll never get away from Isaac. He will keep cornering and won't stop until he eventually finds her. Hope knows that she'll only continue putting Letty in danger while staying by her side. She then thanks Letty for these past few months. It's been the best time of her entire life, but she can't stand and allow Isaac to comfort him. I love you now. I have set you free. Hope says. With that, Hope steps into traffic as a tractor that trailer plows her down as Letty unleashes a guttural scream, watching her friend die a horrific death. Hour long it appeared that Isaac's demise would come at Easy's hands, or perhaps even a member of Sam could finally fed up with his war against the mines. But now it seems that Letty might want him dead, even more than both of them. Back at the Mayans clubhouse, Bartos and Guerrero hop in a van bound for the Broken Saints compound at the parting of Creeper's memorial. Guerrero is convinced that one of the Broken Saints has questioned him, while Bartos has proof that the same girl just sent him a text, telling him to get there as soon as possible. Along the way, Bartos makes the ill-fated mistake of dropping a few mom jokes, which only enrages Guerrero. They end up stopping for gas before arriving at the Broken Saints compound, but neither one of them wants to get out of the van out of fear that the other will drive off and leave them behind. Bartos does get a couple of punches for his jokes, but in the end, both men refuse to pump the gas, so they continue forward towards the Broken Saints home. As expected, the van runs out of gas just before they arrive at the compound, But as angry as Guerrero might be at the situation, Bardo soon turns his attention to a fire just as just over the horizon. The pair jet out of the van and run towards the Broken Saints compound, where they find members pulling each other out of the burning building, the same place that that housed the mine's drug operation. A huge explosion rocks the compound as Barros and Grill watched the Mayans' entire future go up in flames. Isaac got what he wanted because he struck a blow to the Mayans and that they put a target on their heads, especially after striking a deal with the soldiers of fortune that gave them control over the prison drug trade at 50% and split in profits. There will be no more money rolling in now with the drug production destroyed thanks to the Sons of Anarchy. And I would give this episode only 1 star, and I would give this episode a D because I was very disappointed with this episode. The only good interesting thing happened was Hope's death and the explosion at the end, and I did like the scene between Felipe Reyes and Miguel Galindo, and Felipe and the father and son moment with Felipe Reyes and Angel saying he wants out. So yeah, but this was not a very good episode. Hopefully, the last two final episodes of season 5 are good, and Lincoln Potter will be in next week's episode as he in the trailers. Agent Cody was shown talking to Lincoln Potter in next week's episode in the trailer, saying that she wants easy ways to die. So does that mean Lincoln Potter is going to be the one to kill Easy Ways, or is Lincoln Potter going to order Easy Ways death? Anyway, comment down below in the comment section. Tell me what you thought about this episode. What's going to happen in the two final episodes, which will be directed by Alton James. Anyway, you stay classy, live long and prosper, and peace out. And I agree with you, Mike Norris. This episode was hard to watch, especially being close to the end. The War of Isaacs and the Sons could have been so cool, and they are going to give us everything but the war. I completely agree. This episode was indeed very hard to watch, but as I said, let's hope something good happens in the final two episodes. And is Lincoln Potter going to finally die? And who's going to kill him? Is it going to be Miguel Galindo, or is it going to be Emily? Or is Lincoln Potter going to off himself? But something is going to happen to Lincoln Potter, either in the next week's episode or the series finale. Anyway, thank you for watching. You stay classy, live long and prosper, and I will be back here later today to do my recap review of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Season 2, Episode 4, and I will be back here next week to do my recap and review of Mayans M.C. Season 5, Episode 9. You have a good day, and peace out.